RDTDaily.com presents a Tarabuster with comedian Tara Devlin.
All right. What's up? All right. I'm not even settled. What's going on? My name is Tara Devlin. Thank you for hanging out. Hopefully that sounds okay. Unapologetic liberal talk on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. And don't we need more of that? So we meet here, we have our Friday night show, and then we do a weekday show. So here's our weekday gathering. It's a little more casual, I have to say, because we don't have the same constraints. Is my hair looking all right? I don't know. Who cares? And so there you go. Little Boudica's running around. She's a beautiful little doll. And yeah, that's my little kitten, Boudica. There she, look at her. Booty. Oh, she'll make an appearance. I gotta really be careful because she's very small and she likes to hang out under my feet or near my feet. I don't want her under my feet. So she's very cute. I love her. What can I say? Finally, I found someone to love. I'm only kidding. All right. Listen. I'm so pissed. I have high blood pressure. I don't know if you guys know this. And it's not good. It runs in my family. But in fact, when I was going into the National Guard, and I almost didn't make it because my blood pressure was borderline. It was right under where it would be considered high. So I don't know, whatever. That was years ago, and I was younger. But now that I'm getting older, I'm just more pissed anyway. But I've been walking around with a knot in my stomach for a long time, and I think it's something that we share as Americans. I don't know. Am I wrong? Maybe people can share about it in the chat. But it's kind of stressful. And also it's, what adds to the stress is knowing how unnecessary it is. And just the frustration of being an American, seeing what needs to be done, and having these horrible garbage people standing in the way of what to me is absolutely obvious. Let's say universal health care or universal higher education, living wages. I mean, it really does come down to the question, what is the meaning of life? Right? What's the meaning of an economy? What is the meaning of government? Why do we form government? We do it because we are a interdependent, interconnected species, and this kind of government, a constitutionally limited democratic republic, is supposed to be the antidote to authoritarian rule, intergenerational aristocracy. And it's supposed to be, it's not perfect, but it's also supposed to work for all. That's why, or at least try. That's the thing about what I hate about Republicans, besides everything else, is that they... it's like what FDR said once, and off the top of my head, I'm paraphrasing. He said, well, I can look it up. He said something like, try something, right? Try, and if it doesn't work, then we try, we learn from it and we try something else. And, but by all means, or above all, try. I know I'm butchering that quote. Let me see. FDR quote. because it was about, how to handle the new, how to approach the Great Depression, remedies for the Great Depression, where the Republican or the conservative response to the Great Depression was let them eat cake. It really was. The ideologues that we suffer under today, they're still in this, they're still here. The human condition doesn't change. There are conservatives and just like their ancestors, they seem to just cling to their ideology and not want to change anything. And I think that's the nature of conservatism, which is that digging in their heels and not doing anything different. Throw a tax cut out there. That's all they have is tax cuts and deregulation. That's what they do. That's it. And because they have nothing to offer, now it's anti-gay again, and so anti-trans especially, but anti-gay, anti-trans. It's always divisive. It's always. So let's see. After our quote. I know the kittens are, at least they're a nice backdrop, right? Watching the kittens play. Ray and little Boudica are, because they're the youngest, so they look at her. She's fucking so cute. I can't take her. But Ray and Boudica really kind of, they've bonded. They love each other. They're, because they're the youngest, but I have to tell you, Ray I don't know if he knows his own strength. He's probably the biggest cat I've ever had. I'm fortunate he's kind and gentle because he's a monster. He could rip my head off probably and shit down my neck if he wanted to. He's nothing but muscle. He's very dense. He's all muscle. And, he's strong. So he has to be, I'm sure he pulls his punches. He's got to be kind. And, I guess if Boudica was getting hurt, she would let me know about it. But they are playing. And, when they play at murder. So it's all murder this, murder, murder, murder. Murder, hunting, stalking, murder. That's how they play. So, all right, quote, try something. Probably won't find it. Oh, yeah, here we go. The country needs, and unless I mistake its temper, the country demands bold, persistent experimentation. It is common sense to take a method and try it. If it fails, admit it frankly, and then try another. But above all, try something. And isn't that, normal? But if FDR were living with today's Republicans, it would all they are a bunch of gnats that fly around and point fingers and throw stones and say, you're not doing it perfectly, you're not doing it correctly, you're not doing, like buzzing little, just buzzing, doing nothing. They really do offer nothing. And if I'm wrong, I would like somebody to point it out to me. I mean, we could discuss it. I'm open to, I would be pleasantly surprised. I would be pleased if I were wrong about these motherfuckers. But let me tell you what I got. What the receipts that I have about the things we're going to talk about. Now, yesterday was not yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. My life is flashing before my eyes. And thank you, Jim. Am I right? Yeah, Jim, for your super chat. Thank you, Jim. As always, for starting us off with the super chats. And thank you for also being a moderator in the chat room, in the Tarabuster chat room at youtube.com/c4channel/Tarabuster. And Haiku for being a moderator in the chat room. Thank you so much, guys. I cannot do it without you, and that is the truth. So, yeah. They're like my bouncers in the Tarabuster chat room. We don't suffer morons in there. I mean, you could. I have no problem with right wingers coming in there, and if they have something to say, but they don't have anything to say. Like, for example, I mean, this is just a complete aside. It's not even about the chat room. I was looking at AOC's. Well, I was on Facebook, whatever, just scrolling around. And it came across AOC's Facebook. There was some ad. No, that's what it was. It was like an ad for, fundraising. And some fucking Trumpanzee, of course, underneath, it just says, I don't take billionaire donors. I don't have big money benefactors. I only take donations from people, blah blah blah. Can you send me whatever? I think she was asking for like $13. Hey! Sorry, the cats. Tara Jr.'s still getting used to little Boudica. He's a little crabby. I mean, he has the right to be. He's like an old man. So at times I feel like he's okay with her, but then he does things like that and screams at her. I don't know. She might be annoying, like maybe he's like achy because he's old. And here comes this kid. That's why it's good that we have younger cats here to keep they can keep each other occupied. So. And leave little Tara Jr. alone. He could sit back and watch. He seems to like to watch them play. So anyway, sometimes he joins in too. He's not that old. He's gonna be 13, but that's like 70 or something like that in cat years, or 64. Am I wrong? I was looking at a chart. So yeah, everything sucks, right? What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So it was the 4th of July. And, of course, I had something to say, and I'm sorry. It'll all come back. But, oh, yeah. Here's the thing. And what else? I mean, I wish I was wrong, right? But I'm not. And it sucks to be right. I am always right about these things, unfortunately. I would like to be pleasantly surprised and proven wrong one day. But okay. I was saying, I've been saying it for years, that one of the problems with the country is that we do not have a common story. And that's all by design of Republicans, you see. They suck, okay? They lack the fundamental ability to function in a free democratic society, and they are tearing it down, as we see. And it's by hook and by crook, because they're a bunch of crooks. And they are shoving these illegitimate Supreme Court justices on, and frankly, I'm sick of it. That is just like the Nazis did. We know that. And then we have these other Trumpanzee judges that were shoved on the court, making these effing rulings about bullshit. And it gets worse, and it's never good news about these people. And all they're doing is rolling back rights. They're not adding anything to society. They are just dividing society and making society worse. They never side on the rights. They never, let's say, rule on the side of unity, right? It's always to make sure that the people are divided, that they can hate with abandon, that there are second-class citizens and then there are full citizens. And it's all under the guise of equality? because bullshit. That's why I say, we will win, because they have to pretend they're doing it for truth, justice, and the American way, right? They have to pretend they're doing it for freedom. But every day is opposite day in Republican bizarro world. So freedom means, to a right-winger, it's freedom for me and not for thee. For example, this freaking bullshit website designer asshole who nobody asked to design a website and doesn't even have a goddamn business. How is this even a thing? But there's the corrupt Supreme Court. So now you could just make up hypotheticals to give you to give the right wingers an excuse to strip people of their rights. And that's what they're doing. So now they have given, the right for assholes to not serve gay people because their invisible fucking cloud being told them, which should have nothing to do with our secular government and our secular society. Go pray in your closet. This is not a theocracy. And if you're God, if that's your sacrament, that's your holy obligation, is to be a gay basher, you have a pretty shitty religion, and it should be even more or more the reason it should be taken the hell out of my secular government, because your religion sucks. What kind of religion treats people like second-class citizens? One that sucks. And this is why every day is opposite day in Republican bizarro world, because they're taking the teachings of Jesus. I mean, and you know that if Jesus came back, they'd crucify him again for being too woke, for being too kind, for giving out free health care, for loving his neighbors. No, they don't love their neighbor. First of all, nobody asks you to love your neighbor then. Here, if you can't love, then shut the fuck up. Shut up. Mind your own business. But some bitch doesn't want to do a website for a gay couple. Nobody asked her to. She doesn't even have a website business. Nothing. She's a dirtbag. And let me tell you, and she's a freaking liar too. Because I'm sure you heard that this so-called, I don't know, some guy went to her supposedly to get this website, and this person was gay, and it ends up the fucking guy wasn't gay, and they just made it up. So apparently it was it's the wife of Josh Hawley, the fist pumping chicken run asshole. Let's see, Josh Hawley wife, because I think people are like, excuse me, how can you? How could you? I mean, here's the thing. Well, I can't even talk. You have to have standing. Fake people do not have standing. But okay, I'm also kind of sick of. I'm just sick of them. See that, and that just tells you how much Republicans hate this country. You see, they are tearing it down by any means possible. And I've said it before. They have no honor. This Supreme Court has absolutely no honor. And it sucks, really, that the Democrats don't fight. And we've talked about this on the show before. I think the last show that we were talking about it, I mentioned how Joe Biden was on Nicole Wallace's show, and let me find the fucking thing. It was really. I think I didn't have the clip. Here's the clip. Wait. Come on. Come on. You know, here we go with the ECAM. The problem with ECAM is like there's two windows. It's very confusing.
You worry that without court reform, this conservative majority is too young and too conservative, that they might do too much harm?
Well, I think they may do too much harm. But I think if we start the process of trying to expand the court, we're going to politicize it maybe forever in a way that is not healthy.
It's not healthy. So what do we do in the meantime? This is what pisses me off. I'm sorry. You know, we talked about the last show too, but it's ridiculous. It's effing ridiculous. I'm afraid it's going to be too politicized. It's already politicized. They politicized it when Moscow Mitch wouldn't allow a hearing for Merrick the Meek and Mild. Right? That was when it was politicized. But to tell your opponents, you just signal to this filthy Supreme Court, this filthy, corrupt, illegitimate court, that you're not going to do a damn thing about the fact that they're out of control, that they are making shit up, that they're reaching into the nooks and crannies of the country to pull these cases out that are deliberately constructed by right-wing effing Nazis, by homophobes, by a bunch of religious fanatics who want to turn this into the system the founders fought a revolution to overthrow and then some. They want to make it worse. They want to turn us into the equivalent of Saudi Arabia, except with Jesus. That's the truth. It's their policy. Prove me wrong. You know, freedom for me, not for thee. That's the way it is. And that's what they want. You know, he's not hurting the people he needs to be hurting. That's who they are. They're unfit. I'm afraid it's going to be politicized forever and ever. So who cares? Let it. Who's going to get hurt in the meantime? So gay people now have to, maybe, we can't go in, we won't be able to go into a food establishment, a restaurant, or wherever some fucking Nazi is there who says, oh, well, I don't serve gays. You know, my meals are art. Because that's the thing. According to this basic bitch who lied to the court, but the court doesn't care because it's a bunch of Nazis who are illegitimate. But what was it? Oh, she's an artist. So this person, this fake person that they made up, who is, I'm just trying to remember the guy. The guy has a name. Let's see, made up. Oh, shit. Supreme. I need to have another producer in here. That is a human. Supreme Court. Made up? Website. I have these articles, but then when the show's going, it seems like I can't find them. Yeah, sham. Oh, okay. It's the sham customer. Legitimacy of customer in gay rights case raises ethical and legal red flags. So, you know, I just wonder, too, that why are we even following this filthy Supreme Court? Let it, you know, what did Andrew Jackson, excuse me, say? Yeah, okay, well, let the Supreme Court doesn't want me to, what was it, to move these indigenous people. Let them stop me. Let them send the army to stop me. Right? So what's the difference? And in fact, in Arizona, there is an attorney general that is ignoring this filthy Supreme Court. So Let's see. Is it in Arizona? Ignoring gay rights. Having a problem tonight. Yes, I like this a lot. Here's from the the headline in the Arizona Central says the Attorney General Chris Mays tells Supreme Court to shove it. Exactly. Exactly. That's what we should all do. And if, of course, that won't happen because Democrats are too much of whipped dogs, frankly. They really are. It's like Joe Biden. Well, I'm afraid it's going to be too politicized. Well, what do you think happened way back when Barack Obama was still president and we were it was 10 months before the election? None of these Republicans, this filthy Supreme Court is illegitimate. And and I know that if the shoe was on the other foot, we would never hear the end of it from the effing disgusting right-wing albatrosses that hang around our national necks. So, from the, this is a website, AZ Family, but it says Arizona Attorney General Supreme Court ruling for website designer is woefully misguided. Arizona lawmakers and public officials are reacting to the Supreme Court ruling, blah, 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 that allows businesses to refuse gays and other LGBTQ plus people on the basis of religion. Oh, so you can just say, fuck you to a protected class of people, just another human being. If your sky spook tells you, if your invisible man on a cloud tells you. Now, that they're disgusting, that Republicans, they're not Christians. Because if Jesus came back, not only would they crucify him again, but who do you think he'd be hanging out with? He'd be leading the goddamn gay pride parade. You know that. So, really. And, but Democrats will never fight like our lives depend upon it. They're too busy pretending something. I don't know, modeling good behavior for the fascist children, Republicans who don't really, who don't give a shit. They just laugh. So I'm afraid it's going to be political. It's too late. That horse left the barn years ago, and we should, ever since then, we should have been calling Neil Gorsuch, the dishonorable Neil Gorsuch. You can call him that, or call him the illegitimate Justice Gorsuch. You don't just concede defeat and go on like, oh, well, They won that one. No, they didn't. They rigged it. They blocked it. They used illegitimate means to put this dishonorable scumbag on the court. And he's a dishonorable scumbag. Because, think about what happened during the coup. The coup was ongoing. We know that. But when they keep, as we know, more will be revealed. But when we find out that many of the stopgaps, the secretaries of state and whatnot, different people for different states, in different positions, they didn't go along with the coup. This is what I'm trying to say. When Brad Raffensperger, even though he's nobody, I'm want to hang out with. But, he's a voter suppression aficionado. But he's just not ready to overthrow democracy. It's like Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger. These people, they gave Trump a pass when it came to impeachment. These two didn't vote for impeachment. Same thing. They had many opportunities. But so as we study January 6th and the coup that's ongoing, they keep commending these people. Well, the system held because many of the people, and they're spreading the alarm about how Republicans are removing these people that didn't go along with the coup and putting in their flunkies. So next time they try to overthrow the government, it'll be successful. What happened, Booty? You broke it? You broke your toy? Where'd it go? What'd you do? What happened, Booty Boo? Where's the other part? Hold on. She broke her toy. My little girl. Wait a minute. We got work to do here. Hey, I fixed it, Booty. Here, baby. Here, boo-boo. So, yeah. When... Let's put it back a little so you can see her. Get back there. So what they're saying, when the time of crisis, these people didn't go along with the coup. But so on the other hand, when Moscow Mitch called up Neil Gorsuch and said, "Hey, you want to participate in my plot to corrupt and overthrow the Supreme Court," these fucking people said yes. That's what I'm trying to say. And it needs to be called out. They need to be called out. Gorsuch needs to be called out. Why can't we compare that? It's the same damn thing. So if one group of people are commended, then these right-wing illegitimate Supreme Court justices need to be condemned for their participation in a coup, for their saying yes. That in itself is unacceptable. You think about it. This effing Gorsuch son of a bitch, he knew, as we all did, that these pricks weren't giving Merrick Garland, this meek and mild, mealy-mouthed, this person who was not a left-winger, who Lindsey effing Graham himself said, well, if Obama nominates somebody we could all get behind, like Merrick Garland. And that's what he did, because that's Obama. That's a fucking Democrat for you. You don't shoot for the fences, please. They say, pretty please. Well, when they punch you in the face, at least I have a very hard head. That's who they are. My good friend, when he punched me in my face. My good friend over here, he's, but if Democrats did that to Republicans, they'd be like, oh, he bopped me in the nose. Oh. And we never hear the end of it. Legally and peacefully. I'm not saying bop him in the nose. But this is, what the hell? These people are illegitimate and they're dishonorable, and it's and they participated in the coup. So the fact that they sit there, when I see that Gorsuch, I see the clips of him from his hearing, him sitting there all smug. Even at the time, I was like, what is this? How dare he sit here and act like this is normal? He's sitting in a fucking stolen seat. And he should be ashamed of himself. I'm telling you, you know it. I'm sure. I mean, I know for myself, if somebody called me and they were like, hey, would you want to step over this person's fucking body and take, I would say no. I'm not like, if you're a effing judge, right? He knew what was going on. He saw the unfolding coup that Moscow Mitch was up to. And they should, so they call him and he's like, anybody, first of all, he's like, yeah, let me in there. Let me in, put me in, coach. I'm ready. Let me just step over Merrick Garland. If he had any integrity, he would have said, well, gee, Moscow Mitch, gee, Moscow, I would love to be considered for a lifetime appointment on the Supreme Court. It's my dream, next to kicking down on gay people and stripping women of all their rights and making indentured servants out of all students in America and ensuring that people can't go to a goddamn 4th of July parade without being shot dead. That's my dream. I can't even pick which dream is more important to me. But all those dreams depend on me sitting on the highest court in the land as a king, one of the kings of America. I'd love to do it, but I have too much honor. First, why don't you ask Merrick Garland? Because I saw what you did, Moscow, and it didn't sit well with me because I'm a man of integrity. And I fear for my country. I fear for this divided country. And it's really not okay to, you may not like the way elections turn out. But that doesn't mean you get to rig and shove people onto the court because you think you can by some dirty trick. You're disgusting. In fact, get off my fucking line here because you make me sick. I want to puke talking to a disgusting person like you, Moscow Mitch. I mean, that's what he should have done. If he had integrity, I mean, and going on the line with Justice I Like Beer. And let's not get started on Amy Coney, Miss Handmaid of America. She's the worst. Oh, they all suck. She couldn't wait for Ruth Bader Ginsburg to be buried. And she had the balls to stand up there with that son of a bitch, Trump? With that disgusting cretin? And smile. Her fake ass smile, sitting in Ruth Bader Ginsburg's seat, eating my ass, lady. So she could strip women of their rights and do everything that this is enough. I'm so sick of Democrats not being able to understand how to fight. Legally and peacefully, but it starts with the message. And you Don't apologize for being on the right side of history and decency and dignity and democracy. You stand up. And when some scumbags, when these fascist scumbags pull their dirty tricks, you don't just roll over and go with it. Exactly. Steve on the chat says RBG should have stepped down under Obama. Yes, she should have. I don't know what the hell, but that's another. These people. They're like they think they love it. I mean, maybe it's like what's her name, Dianne Feinstein, or Stein or whatever. What are they? I don't know. We'll see what happens if I'm on this podcast at 90 saying please become a patron. You might be like, step down, bitch. And maybe she doesn't want to step down. And there's some people have said, I've heard different arguments, but one was, and it seemed reasonable, that if she steps down, the Republicans will not allow another person to sit on the Judiciary Committee. So Biden will not be able to get his court picks into on the bench or what. I'm not sure, but still, 90. But nobody. I mean, are they telling Chuck Grassley to step down? I don't know. They whatever. This is not. That's a conversation for another day. Boudica. She's so good. So, what was I saying? Anyway, I hate them. And I'm sick of, what's worse? That's what gets on my nerves. It's like, yes, Republicans are worse. That's the answer to the question. But that Joe Biden is like, it's going to be political. Are you, can somebody knock on his head and ask if there's anybody home? It's too political. Fuck that. What are you talking about? It was political when Moscow Mitch stole the seat. So it's already corrupt. So how many people have to die? How many people have to put up with this bullshit? Second-class citizen status. And wait, what's going to get me in more, my blood pressure more in a critical way, when these pricks, these illegitimate scumbags on the Supreme Court ensure that no state gun laws are applicable because everybody has the right to walk around with an assault weapon. That's coming. And they took these cases deliberately because it's like a bunch of pigs and shit. And they hate this country. You see, they have a minority ideology. Notice, Amy Coney, bitch-face Barrett. Nobody, you have the right to be in your handmade cult, but notice that it's a very small cult. So, and that's, well, now that we're talking about it, but like, for example, when they were questioning this bitch, who shouldn't have, none of the Democrats should have even participated in any of this shit. The fake sham of shoving these people on the court. They should have said, this is an illegitimate court. They have stolen these seats. And we're not participating in this court until we get into the majority and we can address the fact that the Republicans have corrupted and turned this court into a political body. And just keep repeating it. Illegitimate, illegitimate, illegitimate. That's how it works. People are storytellers. And it all starts with the story. The American Revolution began with the story. of the Enlightenment, you know, that we don't need a king and an aristocracy. It started with the pamphlets and the tea shops and the conversations. So, same thing. You don't just go along with the fucking corruption. Okay, whatever. I don't even know. So shut up, Joe Biden. Give me a break with this shit. I'm just so sick of these Democrats. You know, history will revile this filthy court, and also the Republicans. But what's it going to say about a party that let it happen? It's one thing to let it happen because you don't have the power somehow. You do have power though. Use everything in your arsenal, especially the media, especially the message. Illegitimate. Oh, I'm afraid it's going to be political. And then they'll add people and we'll add people. Who cares? Let it happen. Who cares? But what does it say to that scummy, illegitimate court that thumbs its nose at everything, that flies around the globe like they're living lifestyles of the rich and famous, taking bribes from billionaires? You know, they're not hanging out in the Walmart parking lot. I know that Uncle Clarence thinks we are stupid enough to believe that. But, you know, they're hanging out with the rich of the rich. And what do? You know, you're not hanging out with regular stock. But anyway, that's why they screw the American people. They screw the average person. And that's the Republican way. This Republican Party is really the enemy of the people. They're not going to be happy unless someone is hurt, someone is dead, someone is, you know, suffering. They want the country divided. I mean, prove me wrong. People, somebody recently contacted me. They're like, oh, you're just picking on the Republicans. As if Republicans bad, Democrats good. I'm not saying that. I never said Democrats good. I said Democrats better. And yeah, Republicans are bad. They are. Tell me, anybody? Can anybody tell me anything this Republican Party has done to benefit the people? The average people. Anybody have anything? I mean, they did in the prior administration that received fewer votes both times. They passed one major piece of legislation, and that was the Trump tax breaks for the billionaires, and they fucked over the American people. You know, and any benefit that the average person received from that tax scam expires in 10 years. So we're more than halfway there. And not only did they take what it was when they got there, thanks to Reaganomics, the least upwardly mobile. From the most, we went from the most to the least upwardly mobile with the widest income gap of all Western democracies. And they looked at that landscape and they said, you know what this place needs? More income disparity, more upward immobility. We need a wider income gap. We need more rich people. We want the rich to get richer and the working class to be the more malleable working poor, until we get to the point where we're back to where we began. We're not just rolling back the progressive era, the New Deal. We're rolling back the American Revolution. We're going right to the Dark Ages. I mean, prove me wrong. Tell me and show me something that they've done. And we went through it at the time, all the things that they were doing that weren't getting attention from the media, because the media is very obsessed with Trump's, every tweet he shat out, and polls, up in the polls, which makes me sick. But, how they took all the FDA inspectors off the slaughter line and allowed feces into the food supply. That didn't get any attention in the corporate media. And at the time, we were like, well, what does it say to you? What's the message when a group of people make policies that say it's okay for you to literally eat shit? Okay, what does that tell you? Oh, that's a real man of the people. Where's Boudica? Booty. I think she went behind the computer. Boudica, you're so cute. What are you doing? Get over here. Wait, I have to show you this. Is my cat cam working? Boudica. Booty boo, it's happening. Booty. Boudica, you're behind the computer? Hello, Booty. Don't pull out any wires. What could her job be? We have the producer. There she is, like touching all the wires, though. Look at all those wires. She's got her paws right on it. Not good, Booty. Not a good plan. She's getting big, right? But she's still very small. She's going to be tiny. And that's the way I like it. I don't need any... I mean, maybe I'll make it easier to have 4 cats. If one of them is tiny. She's the grip. That's right, Haiku. That's right. She's working on the wires. All right. Let me get off this topic. I mean, it's all going to be connected. It's just that I can go on and on about it and never stop. And I'm sick of it. Yeah. The legitimacy... Oh, yeah. Well, we talked about that. The legitimacy of the so-called customer and the gay rights. How does this even happen? So let's continue to just say, oh, it's okay that a certain segment of society is a second-class status. Wait, hold on. Come here, honey. Come here, you little booty. Booty, give me your body. Booty. Yes. She was trying to jump. Booty, look. Go play. Go play. Yeah, so we... Oh, what was I saying? One last thing. Because, this dumb basic bitch with this fake websites business that nobody asked her to do a website for. Like, first of all, who's going to go to some homophobic bitch and be like, can you do me and my partner's website? Like, nobody wants you. But anyway, she was hoping one day she'd be able to be a very good website designer, but and she just hates gays because her giant invisible cloud being told her. Anyway, but when you're hired as a commercial artist to do something, and this is the other thing about the Supreme Court that makes me want to puke, you're not, because she was saying that she's an artist, and this is speech, right? So the filthy, corrupt, illegitimate court that hates America said that, and well, they said that they agreed that she's an artist, and her not being able to discriminate against gays is suppressing her free speech, and if that's your free speech, like go away, go galt already, really. You got nothing to say. But anyway, but when you're hired to do a piece of art or whatever, you're doing it for the client. So it's not your speech. The client gets to say, no, yes, different font, different colors, move that, do this, do that, right? And the client owns the website or whatever you're doing, or whatever piece of art you're doing, or commercial, graphic design you're doing. It's not speech. You're being hired to perform a service. So now they're saying it's because they just want to discriminate. And they're fixing the facts around the policy. And that's what Republicans do. By any means necessary, because they hate America. I don't know how many times I can say it. They hate America. They hate diversity. They hate e pluribus unum. They hate the nation of immigrants. They hate that this world is evolving. Boudica's crawling on the microphone now. Well, you are tired. Why don't you go and take a nap? She's not going to listen to me. So, yeah, it's incredible. When you work for somebody and if you're doing a commercial art project, it's not fucking art. It's not like you're in your spare time making somebody who said, make me a piece of art that has gay people getting married. And if you're being paid for it, it's a service. So, and it's in the public, you don't get to discriminate, but now you do. You see what I'm saying? How stupid is this Supreme Court? But it's not about that. They're not stupid. They're just low, cunning bastards who have no honor. So you could just say, if somebody hires me to do some design, no, I can't do that because I'm a artist. And no, it's not just that. My invisible cloud being said I can't. No, if you want to be paid, well then they could go find somebody else. But if you want to be paid, you don't get to fucking, say, oh, I don't like the content and I don't want to serve you. I mean, you see what they're doing to this country? And, well, anyway, yes, you do. The other thing, there's so many things to talk about tonight, and it's really horrible. I don't even know where to begin. I was talking about the gun massacres, perjury, traitor, green, and then the anti-gay. Everything is horrible. Trump and his 4th of July bullshit. And here's the thing. Wait. One of the things I was saying earlier is that I wish I was wrong. It sucks to be right. It really does. Because I've been saying this for years. One of the reasons we are divided is because we do not have a common story, right? And here's an article from the Daily Beast. Americans can't even agree on what our country is. And I've said this before. Why don't people listen to this fucking show? Maybe it's the cats. I don't know. Maybe it's me. That's okay. That's fine. Be like that. Why don't Democrats listen? I wish they would. So it says, this person writes, the left thinks the U.S. is irredeemable, while the right acts as if liberal democracy is a failure, and we're all not teaching our children well. Well, it's not that the left thinks the U.S. is irredeemable. That's not true. Well, I'll speak for myself. I think that the U.S. is not living up to its potential because right-wingers are standing in the way, either dragging us back or, dragging us back. And every step forward we make, there they are trying to drag us back. Booty. Jesus Christ. Honey. She is the grip. She's pulling on my... She's pulling on the wire for my headset. Great. Go lay down. She's under my foot. Let me see. Let me show you what I'm looking at. So you can enjoy. Oh yeah, it looks dark down there. Let's put some light on the situation. Where? It's like going into it's like going back to Titanic, right? Or maybe. Too soon? Is it too soon for that joke? Come on. Where's Boudica? Oh, she moved. All right, she moved. We'll go back to Titanic later. We'll find her down there under my feet. Okay. While Americans grill burgers and hot dogs, enjoy a dip in the pool, and await the annual 4th of July fireworks display, and some of them even get shot. That's our new annual tradition. Who's it gonna be? The Wheel of Fortune, when Fortuna spins the wheel. Which parade is gonna end up in bloodshed? Right? Maybe it'll be multiple. That's always fun. So anyway, I'm not alone. Where is it? This is an article written by Matt Lewis in the Daily Beast. I remain happily surprised that this day of communal patriotism is still widely accepted and generally celebrated. To be blunt, it feels like the country is coming apart at the seams and lacking some shared purpose. And I'm not alone in feeling this way. About 2/3 of Americans say the country is more divided than usual. To make matters worse, young people are already behaving that way. A Generation Lab poll conducted for NBC News last year confirmed that young Americans are segregating themselves along partisan lines. Well, who wants to hang out with fascists? Really? Who wants to hang out with people that think you're a second-class citizen? Young people are not... They don't give a shit about bullshit. Like, if you marry somebody of the same peepee, your invisible cloud being is going to be mad. Give me a break. They don't care. They're progressive. They're woke. I know how frightening that is. So anyway, who wants to hang out with a bunch of idiots who are like, MAGA? When someone's wearing that red hat, especially a young person, other young people are like, get this guy out of here. It's like a deal breaker. That's why these idiots are like, they come up with their dating sites, for Trumpanzees and stuff, because who wants to go out with them? Nobody. They need that. They need each other. No one will ever hang out with them except other cultists, because they're unbearable. You can't reason with them. You can't talk to them. And the entry into the cult is that you are racist. You hate black people. You hate gay people. And, of course, you are delusional, too, because you can't admit it. Except you do everything in your power to, cover it up by saying that you're just being, you're being not racist. Everybody else is racist. You're racist against white people, They're so put upon. Okay, come on. This article's kind of annoying. So while the point of it, I agree with. We are divided because we don't have a common story. I just don't like what this fucking idiot is putting words in our mouth. So he writes, many on the left see America as a racist country whose present status is fruit from the poisonous tree. That is really not true. I mean, we see this. The fact is, I wish I could talk to this guy. America was founded in racism. It's not just fruit from the poisonous tree. We're not living up to our potential. That's it. We have come a long way thanks to progressive policies and affirmative action and things that we try to rectify. Like FDR said, at least try something. If it doesn't work, try something else. But every time we try something, we have these right-wingers screaming and yelling. Oh, it's not working. It's not happening fast enough. Look, I told you so. As they roll back the policies. Like the same thing they did with Johnson's war on poverty, which did reduce poverty in the country. But it's not fast enough. It's not happening. It's still poor people. It never works. See, I told you. It's just like Jesus said. The poor will always be with us. Oh, well, fuck off. Let's do nothing. Let's give it all to the rich, just the way God wanted it. So just like when, the founders rebelled. The rich were supposed to be rich because that's how God wanted them. So, anyway, they want to uproot our history and destroy any lingering reverence for our founders. That's not true. That's not true. That's what right-wingers think and say we want to do. So I don't know why this person is validating that. They want to because if you're saying they, you must be including me and all the liberals I know. And none of us are like, let's uproot our history and destroy any lingering reverence for our founders. No. We say, let's be adults and take these people and study them like the human beings they were, the products of their time. They were slave owners, many of them. They were fallible. They weren't gods. They weren't divinely inspired like the right-wingers want to say. And in fact, they were inspired by the Enlightenment, if anything. And not just if anything, they were inspired by the Enlightenment. So, shut up. Isn't that annoying? I hate when people put words in my mouth like that. Because it's really a little bit more complex than that. It's not, we want to uproot our history. It's not uprooting it. It's being honest about it. to be adult about it and to openly discuss it as as in the manner it happened, not to discuss it like children. Oh, George Washington could never tell a lie and chop down the cherry tree, and Lincoln was, freed the slaves. He was the best. There's a little bit more complex than that. And, come on. And they were products of their time, just like we're products of our time. And in their time, and that's why they could write, why Thomas Jefferson could write, all men are created equal, while owning other human beings. Because those human beings he owned weren't men. They weren't people. They were property, and women were property. And when they said all men, they meant all white men, because that's all that mattered. And the blinders were there, whether they in some moments had that flash of realization of just what hypocrites they are. We knew that was there too. They knew that they were leaving a great, they were leaving the future problems because of slavery. And they wrote about it. But they owned slaves. And we know that Thomas Jefferson had a whole family of African American people, whatever. I don't know how many there were, but there are his descendants living today, and they know this through DNA. Him and Sally Hemings had numerous children together. Come on, people. Are we this? I guess we are. This babyish. So then he goes on. Many on the right now advocate a different sort of anti-Americanism, ironically cloaked in flag-waving nationalism, that says America is too weak, secular, and decadent to be a great nation. Some even seem to hold authoritarian or illiberal regimes like those in Russia and Hungary in high regard. Others believe it's high time for a national divorce. To a lesser extent, these themes are being mainstreamed by traditional conservatives. Consider, for example, Nikki Haley's nostalgic warning for better times that never really existed. Well, isn't that the way Republicans are? They're always longing, and that's fascism in general, always longing for this mythical past that never existed. Well, and if it did, it only existed for, the people who, white men at the top. So the consequences are hard to quantify, he writes. If you're a progressive who believes America's evil and racist, and I hate that. That is so ridiculous. I don't believe America is evil and racist. Yeah, there's a lot of racism in this country. And the fact that we do not address it, that's evil. That Republicans stand in the way of us addressing it. And I know, I don't just believe, I know that our inability to address it is what will tear this country apart. That we need a conversation about it. We need to warmly and openly, with the best intentions, try to rectify our racist divisions. To understand that and to do something about the fact that, when a segment of the society is in pain and says, and this movement comes out, like Black Lives Matter is birthed from the pain of things that are happening, of black people being killed by police. That's a problem. And then you say Black Lives Matter, and then the others like, oh, shut up, all lives matter. And I wish, because if all lives mattered, we wouldn't have to say Black Lives Matter. But okay, you see, but saying, oh, it's America's just racist, and this, it gets on my nerves, because if you call this a racist ass country, which I have and do, they're like, oh, you hate America. I'm not saying that. No, of course I don't hate this country. I just think that the country is not living up to its potential. It's disgusting to me. It's stressing me out. That there are better ways to do this. And the point is, what's the point, right? What's the point of a government? What's the meaning of life? Is it so to make the rich richer? Because that's what it seems like Republicans are doing. Or is it to ensure that we all have a seat at the table, we all have decent middle-class lives for this small blip of time that we're sharing together? And, that's the point of government, isn't it? We come together, we form this kind of club, we pay our dues, the admission price to civilization. There's infrastructure. You turn on your shower, you put your water from your tap. You're not going to come out with parasites because it's all inspected. It's all part of the infrastructure of freedom. I'm free to get up in the morning and make my coffee. I don't got to go to the well. I don't have to dig a well. I don't got to make a road. I don't have to worry about where I'm going to get my meals. Right there, I go to the store. I go to the shopping. I'm not out there hunting. I'm not spending my days. Maslow's hierarchy of needs are kind of set. And then we're free to do other things, to pursue the human things, to think about things, to write music, to write poetry. We work, you rest, you hang out with your friends, your loved ones. That's, the reason we are getting together in a civilization. At least in my opinion, right? Or I guess in the opinion of sociologists who study these things. But what the fuck, man? I'm sick of this shit. What do Republicans think government's for? To ensure that clearly it's to make the rich richer, but in the meantime, because they have nothing to offer, they're going to offer their base. They need a sacrifice, and it's going to be a blood sacrifice. And that blood is, it's not their blood. It's going to be my blood. It'll be a minority group's blood. And that's really not the reason. Show me a government throughout history that's been successful. Sacrificing the minority group du jour. Well, I'll say modern history. So anyway, the consequences are hard to quantify. Oh, I can't even finish this article. It's so annoying. If you're a progressive who believes America is evil and racist, which is not really, that's too simple, but, and then its laws are illegitimate. Well, the laws that are illegitimate are coming from the illegitimate Supreme Court. But okay, we are making laws. We are voting for legislators who pass legislation. And, for example, like Biden's student loan forgiveness, he campaigned on this nationally. There was no secret. We voted for him in a landslide. He enacted this legislation, and then this illiberal, authoritarian, illegitimate Supreme Court stepped in because the Republicans couldn't do this by way of democracy, and they said no, even though, you know, they're just full of shit and illegitimate and have no place. They never seem to step in when the banks are being bailed out or corporations are being bailed out. Those are never ever unconstitutional. I don't even know why they it does it even matter why they ruled, what bullshit they wrapped their bullshit around, because it's all, you know, and I was reading the Elie Mystal article, and in another interview I saw him in, and he was saying, because this is what he does. He's a legal scholar. He was saying that I wish I had captured it, because he was saying that this is how full of shit the Supreme Court is. They use the same logic, right? So, and for one case, they used it to uphold something that they liked. And then for this affirmative action case, they used it, the same thing. Like, they cited the same case, but in an opposite way, in order to strike down something they didn't like. So it's just like I'm saying, you know, they'll say anything to fix the facts around the policy. It's all a crafty way of justifying it. So anyway, likewise, if you're a right-winger who believes that the left has taken over your nation, stolen elections, which of course is bullshit, and indoctrinated or groomed your children, then why wouldn't you support an insurrection, or worse? To those on the left, I say that America has made progress, but we may not be perfect. Isn't this what the left says, though? We sure have made improvements, but we have more improvements to make. Isn't this what the left says? But okay, he's telling us this is what we should think. But we are a more perfect union than we were in the past. Yes, we already know that, asshole. So to those on the right, America is still the greatest, freest country in the world. Oh, I hate this. And the way to conserve traditional American values is by living your best life and supporting democratic processes and institutions, not via an illiberal power grab. So he's trying to talk to us, so we get somewhere in the middle. No, I'm sorry. I have to disagree. America is not the greatest, freest country in the world. Did you realize that the people from other countries, when they hear that, they laugh? America's the greatest, freest country in the world. Yeah, we may be the biggest bully in the world that has because we have the biggest military. And we're not North Korea, that's for sure. I understand that. And we're not Saudi Arabia yet. Republicans are working on it. But what's freedom? How are we the greatest, freest country in the world? Now, on one of these, I think it was yesterday, actually, because for the 4th of July, they had some guy on MSNBC, and he was talking about how young people are, They're not. They did a poll, of course. It's always the polls. So young people are not patriotic. When they are interviewed, they don't say that they love America, that they're not feeling this patriotism. So and they were like, how do we get them to be patriotic? What are we gonna do? Like they're asking, the commentator was like, yes, it's just a shocking turn of events. These young people, they're not patriotic anymore. They don't express love of the country. They're not. Well, and I'm like, let's just keep it superficial there, I guess, right? Why wouldn't they be patriotic? Maybe the fact that they're coming out of college with, as indentured servants to banks. There's no health care in the country. They're on their parents' plans until age 26 now because, Republicans, that's all they could handle, and they couldn't overturn Obamacare. It used to be 18 when I was growing up because I was on my parents' plan, and then I turned 18, and I was like, oh, shit. And I worked at a Staten Island community television, but I got paid nothing, and there was no health care, and I had no health care, and I almost died out there without health care, and that's the truth. And I'll tell you stories about how I tried to. I was talking to, when I was younger, I'm in recovery now, but I was trying to get into recovery. I was trying to get into a rehab. I had no insurance. And everybody's like, go fuck off and die. Just go die. And I was like done. I wanted to live at the time, I guess. I was trying to turn my life around, but you forget it. You're on your own, Bobby. You're on your own. And I was working. So give me a break, man. And so you're saying, why? Why do kids... you have these kids who were told, as we were just discussing, they voted for President Obama. He said, I'm going to reduce student loan burden, which would be an incredible boon to the economy. And, oh my God, I'm reading the chat. Winston said, I know, Tara. I was 20 years old with a $1.2 million medical bill. Now, what do you do with that? How do you handle that? Yeah. What a disgusting disgrace in this country. With that, that's what I say. What do you love? I love America. Well, eagles and stars. What are you going to do? You need to get medical care. You go drag your ass to the doctor. You're like, oh, I'm sorry, you don't have any insurance. What? That's the first thing they ask. What's your insurance? I don't have any. Pfft. Pound sand, Jack. Wait, don't you see my eagles and stars on my shirt? Don't you see my red, white, and blue? These colors don't run, and the eagle on it. So that's part of the problem. We're divided. How many times I got to say this? It's so true. We are divided because they divide us, but they divide us through policy. We need to have universal health care because of this division. It's a patriotic imperative, like universal higher education. We have to invest in each other. That's a civilization that's free. In other countries, when they hear America saying, or Americans saying that we're the freest, greatest country, they laugh. I'm telling you, I know this firsthand. They laugh their asses off. My friend lives in Switzerland. She moved there because she got a job in Switzerland deliberately because she had rheumatoid arthritis and could not treat it here because of the cost. So she would have to like become a cripple here, you know. There she could work and live her life. But here she would have to suffer and be a cripple. So she took the former and moved her whole fucking life to Switzerland. And she says it's great there. It's great. And she said that there's lots of regulations. It's kind of, sometimes it gets annoying, but you see that the point is community. There is a community spirit that we don't have here. Well, we're so divided. Well, stop dividing us. They turn it into, of course, you know, like we're all divided, and then here's some guns. Stress you out, give you no lifelines, no safety net, and do nothing for you. Expect you to do it all. And then if you fall, if you dare be human and maybe get sick or something, then you're on your own. You're on your own. Everything is ridiculous here. Like, if you get sick here, you can get Medicaid only if you're completely poor. So if you are sick, like for example, if it happened to me and I got sick, and you know, hopefully not, knock on wood, I would have to sell everything. I would have to become an indigent. I'd lose my apartment. I'd lose everything. And then I'd be able to get medical care. And I'd have no place to live. I'd have to go, I guess, live with one of my cousins or my sister or something. Who knows? But there you go. But that doesn't happen in other countries, you see. And the other thing is, we're free. We have no vacation. We have no sick leave. And it's all platitudes. I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of the platitudes. And then us saying, why are kids not patriotic? Why? You know why? Because they're not stupid anymore. Not that everybody's, you know, smart, but these young people grew up in a very small world. I didn't. You know, I grew up when the internet was coming online. It was in the beginning, you know, of the internet. I remember emailing a friend in Los Angeles and being like, oh my God, can you believe this? We can actually talk to each other on this email device. This is great. So, but, you know, but now kids, they know people from all over the world. And you guys know, I've told you before, I have always played games my entire life. I am a gamer. If I had more time, that's what I would do. But I play a game. See, I have it open next to me right now. It's a Game of Thrones game, but it's online. And, well, obviously it's online. Where else would it be? But it's people from all over the world. I'm on a team. I talk to these people. We have meetings. We plan strategy. You know, it's like a very, whatever. It's something that keeps my blood pressure down in a, I don't know, in a way. And so, but these people from all over the world, and yeah, everything is translated too. So when they type to you, it's translated, which is very interesting, you know, and you could see where they're coming from. Japan, from Russia, from of course, England, all over the world, different places, Norway. These are some of the people from my team. And but so that's me, and I'm an old lady. And this game there's people my age on the game too, but there are younger people, not any kids. You have to be over, I think, 25 to be in this team. So, but anyway, the point is, but that's how kids are. That's kids today. They do the same thing. They talk to people from all over the world. They're not as isolated anymore, even though the American people don't travel like the rest of the world. The rest of the world can, that's what they do. I'm going to take a weekend. I'll go to, you're living in England, you take a week. Oh, I'm going to go over to France for the weekend. You can do that. But here, people don't have passports, and it's not just the intellectual incuriosity, which is something that, of course, the Republicans are really notorious for, but it's also money, too. A lot of people, because somebody opened my eyes to that, I have to say, because I was knocking Americans for not having passports, but somebody on the chat one time said, a lot of people don't have money to travel or have passports. It's true. Not here. When you're trying to pay your health care bill, or you're trying to, pay your student loan debt, or can't take a day off to go to a goddamn doctor if you could pay. It's just effing disgusting. So why are young people not patriotic? Well, maybe that's why. And then they see assholes like Perjury Trader Green, like Trump, like Lauren Bann from the bowling alley, Boebert, and the rest of it, like all of them. Ted Cruz, all of these idiots, constantly with the drumbeat of we're the best country, we're the greatest, we're the greatest, we're the greatest. Well, you can't fix perfect, can you? And if you try, then you hate America, and one step forward, two steps backwards. Here comes Tara Jr. What's the matter, honey? He was little once, too. Come here. All right. Jesus. I thought that's what you wanted. I thought you wanted to come over and say hello. Say hello to your fans. Where are we? Right? But look who else is here. Look who's here. Bink, bonk, bink, bonk. Junior, can you be nice to your sister, please? Did you hear this noise I have to put up with all day? Junior! Not nice. Not nice. That's like what my sister used to do to me when I was a kid. Look, everybody's here. This is annoying. There's Ray. There's Booty Boo. All right, I'm not putting up with that noise, man. Get down. Get down. Get down, you fucking monster. Jesus, that noise he makes. He's not. I got to do something about him. I don't want to stress him out. He's all right. Stop. I'm sorry. All the people that hate the cats are gonna be like, "Stop with the cats." I can't help it. Right? It's a staff meeting. Barton on the chat. We need the cats, and now he's going off and he's just screaming and hissing. Junior, Tara Junior, stop. Yeah, I gotta get him some Prozac. He's on Prozac. It actually helps, and I gotta get him some I just took him to the vet. He's doing well. He's got no bad reports, except he does have allergies, and he's cranky. Yes. Errol says the oldest cat is never happy with the baby cat. I know. I want him to be happy. It's his personality, I think, too. Francis, he's getting used to her. But Ray, they're getting along, so they're young. They're young. Let them be. Let them live. Damn it. All right. I'm sick of everything. Let's move on to another story. I can't go on because I think my blood pressure. I should take my blood pressure while we're on the air. Should I do that? I have my blood pressure machine here. Let's see what it is as we're talking. That would be interesting. That's an interesting. We should do a. Let's see. Do a chart. See when my blood pressure rises. On what subjects? Let's see. All right, I have to sit here still. I'll find an article. Let's see. Hold on. What do you expect? I'm an American. My blood pressure is really going to go up in a minute. Let me talk about Marjorie Trader Green. It's almost done. This is some show tonight, right? Uh-oh. I don't think it's going to be good. I might have stroke right on the air. Oh, shit. That's not good. No, I can't even tell you. I gotta take it again. I think I might be having a stroke. I could feel it. Let me see. That can't be. That just can't be. No. Oof. 117 over 90. No. It's not good. Not good. All right. Well, it's going to get worse. I might try it at the end of the show. I need to take my meds probably, but sometimes I'll take it twice in a row and it's not the exact same number. It's a little better. Could be I moved a little. Is that bad? It isn't that bad. But it's in the orange on the app. It's in the systolic. It's higher, but it's not that high. Yeah, it's always like a little high, my blood pressure. Sometimes I get in the green. And I'm like, oh, good. I don't know. It sucks. It's been in my it's everybody in my family has it. It's like ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm sure I'll have a stroke one day. I don't want that, but I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not. Let's see. All right, what do we talk about? It's 10:30. Sorry. This has been, it's been a very loosey-goosey show. Let me see. So now that we have a baseline for my blood pressure, let's do this story and then we'll take it again. And see. Okay. I want to do this story. Oh, God. Marjorie Trader Grain. Well, okay, you know, it's open season on gay people now. It's always been, but it is but we have made progress, right? So that's the reason. This is the backlash, and Republicans are, they've had to suppress a lot of their hate. Now they feel emboldened. And they're disgusting garbage people who have nothing to offer, so they attack a minority group, and it's gays now. It's always been gays because gays are, scary to them. Many of them are in the many of the Republicans are in the closet, and being gay. No matter what, gay people aren't going away. Trans people aren't going away. And that's very scary to Republicans who are, who lack the courage to live authentic lives. We've done this before. I mean, really, you could set your clock by these closet cases like Ethan Schmidt. We knew it. Before we knew it, that we were looking at a closet case. And for those who don't know who Ethan Schmidt is, he's the closet case who would go around and attack gay people in Target, in Barnes and Noble, destroy gay pride displays. I mean, just a horrible, not just online troll. He was like a troll in life. But there was no doubt in my mind he was a closet case. And even before we knew he was, we knew it. He was screaming. His actions screamed, I need the arms of a big, strong man around me. So, anyway, I don't know. Perjury Trader Green, I don't think she's in the closet, but God help us. We don't want her. But she's just a horrible garbage person in herself. I mean, she's the one who, harassed a young survivor of a school shooting. Disgusting. She's a disgusting garbage person. And that's the other thing I hate about these Republicans. Somebody was, they did another, I don't remember who it was. It was recently. There was a story about how, I think it was on yesterday probably, because they had all this alternative programming on the corporate media because of the holiday. And they were discussing how you used to be, you don't go after politicians' kids, and that was a no-no. And they were talking about Hunter Biden. Because the thing is, Hunter Biden is a private citizen, and he's never been a part of the government. And, of course, they're all full of shit, the Republicans. But the thing is, that's not true, because they say, if anybody said anything about, let's say, for example, Trump's kids, Not Donald Trump Jr., the other one. The kid. What's his fucking name? Barron Trump. That's a no-no. But no liberal said anything about it because we just don't do things like that. But rewind to Rush Limbaugh. I remember back in the day how he attacked Chelsea Clinton, who was 12 when she was in the White House, calling her the White House dog. I mean, and that's a scumbag who, they're proclaimed or claimed to love Jesus, and same thing. This is who they are. It's okay if you're a Republican. They have no limits. They have no boundaries. They do whatever they want. And if God help us or you, if you do anything in return, if you do anything that they do, then they cry and whine and, oh my God, and liberals are the, blah, blah. But these are garbage people. Anyway, perjury, Trader Green is really right up there. I mean, imagine. It's fascinating to me. This horrible garbage person. These people, they love her. Imagine that's your hero. Somebody who, is a serial adulterer. Who is an ignoramus, okay? Who on her third day being sworn in had to beg a con man for a pardon. This Jewish space laser idiot. She said that the Sandy Hook massacre of children was a false flag. False flag to strip these horrible garbage people of their guns. Let me see. She's just I can't understand. It's like the Trump thing. I don't understand how anybody likes this person. Of course, the hypocrisy, I suppose, is something they identify with. But how do you look at somebody like this racist idiot who acts like a baboon at the State of the Union? I mean, look at this picture of her. Who's got no class. Okay, hold on. Where is it? Look at that. That's a real picture, That's she grabbing, there's a cardboard cutout of Trump, and she's grabbing its crotch. Stay classy, traitors. Stay classy. But she loves Jesus. And, I guess she loves Jesus. Let me see. Hold on. Oh, so she claims to love Jesus. She hates everything Jesus stood for. Oh, definitely. But imagine going to hear her speak. She's really a rising star. But the day will come where she'll be in the rearview mirror as well. But here she is a couple of days ago, of course, bashing gays. Because, that's all they got. They got nothing.
Today is July 1st, but all last month was what the left refers to as Pride Month.
The left. Boo. 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 Look at her fucking face. Look at her smile. Boo. You see, these are garbage people. All they have is hate on a minority group. Boo! Just replace gays with any other Jews, blacks. You know, they feel that way, but they don't say it out loud as much. But if you said that, you know, on the corporate media, they act like that pulling a lever in a voting booth for the Republican Party is just some rational choice that somebody might make. When it's not. I'm sorry. Pulling the lever for this party means you're sick. There's something wrong with you. You are filled with hate for some reason. You really are unfit to, I don't know, live in a free democratic society, that's for sure. And everything you do proves it. Yes, her voice, Kathy on the chat, irritating voice. Her voice is like a rake on a chalkboard. It's everything about her. You would think or hope that someone so fundamentally irritating and garbage-y that if there were a God, he would have given her one redeeming quality. Just one. But everywhere you look, there's nothing. She doesn't have the intelligence. She's not a nice person. She's not a sweet person. She's not an honest person. Her voice is like a rake on a chalkboard. She lies. She's ignorant. She spreads those lies like as quick as you could friggin' tweet. Just like Jesus would want her to do, right? Isn't that what Jesus wants? Like, for example, in our latest massacre at the 4th of July parade, you know, because freedom in America is the greatest place in the world, where you can get shot at the 4th of July parade, but you can't get health care. Oh, wait till you get the bill. Oh, they'll give you the health care at the time, but as they're doing chest compressions, they'll be like, who's your insurance? Right? You have insurance? What's your deductible? Is this an in-network hospital? Who's your primary care? What's your copay? Jesus, help me. Boo!
God-fearing people here and everywhere know the...
And she fucking smiles. They mention a targeted minority group. Boo! Boo! Kill him! Let him die! Hang him high! Boo! We got nothing. Boo! We don't have health care, but boo those gay people. We live in this shithole South Carolina. Boo! We don't... Let's see where South Carolina... poverty stats... I'm sure it's low. They're low on the totem pole. Let's see. 22% of South Carolina families are living in poverty. That's nearly a quarter. And 42% of single-parent families live in poverty. Nearly half. Incredible. Let's see. Insurance. South Carolina is 37th in healthcare. Let's see, 50 states. This report looks at 50 states in the District of Columbia on 58 measures of health outcomes, equity, affordability. Researchers say they found a surge in preventable deaths every year, driven by COVID-19 deaths. South Carolina healthcare system is ranked 37th, which ain't that good. In South Carolina, there were 514,772 uninsured non-elderly individuals in 2015. Why can't I talk? I have like dyslexia. Non-elderly individuals in 2018. The uninsured rate was 12% higher than the uninsured rate for the United States overall. But boo those gays. Boo. Keep voting Republican, you stupid assholes. Maybe when you go into the hospital, then you'll be able to hate a gay instead. It'll distract you when they kick you out of the hospital for not having any insurance, and you go home and die. You can crawl into your meth lab / shack somewhere in the damn sewage of South Carolina. That's one of the places where the UN inspectors went and they found this kind of sludge, right? Am I wrong here? UN inspectors. Sludge. South. Let's see. Like in USA, just like they find in the developing world. Yeah. Oh, well, you know what else happens this is before Obamacare. I wonder if it still happens, because they would the groups called Doctors Without Borders, they would go to these shithole states like South Carolina, doctors, and hold like day-long clinics. And people would line up for days. And then they would interview the doctors. They say, yeah, I work in Africa. I work in, all these developing nations or developing places, and I've never seen anything this bad. But here in the United States, USA, 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 USA. We're the freest. Why don't young people feel patriotic? Anybody know why? It's a mystery. It's a damn mystery. I just don't know why. We have the greatest country ever born. Except, if you're not, except if you're paying attention. Except there's nothing you can do. You can't take a day off to enjoy it. It's the greatest country, I'm telling you. If you could only take some vacation time to actually enjoy it, you might see that. Except, the rest of the world, they get to do things. They get 30 days off pat. In most of the, that's in England. In other parts of the world, it's more. Because most civilized countries understand that the meaning of life isn't just to work and work and work until you die and drop. Hopefully you drop before you die, because who's going to pay for your fucking medical care. And if you're old and you can't work, then you're better off dead and you don't drain the system. Like Republicans say, like with COVID, and they were like, I think grandma would be happy to die to keep the economy open. She's already served her purpose. There's no need for Granny to be alive. What is she doing? She's not making any like little shit to sell in somebody's store. She can't work on the assembly line anymore for the CEO. She's not able to contribute. She's nothing. She might as well just be Soylent Green. Throw her in the meat grinder and feed her to Perjury Trader Green and her rally crowd. Let's see. Doctors, anyway, whatever. I mean, if only we could take a day off to see how great the country is. Take a health, just take a day. Go to the doctor, but you can't because you can't take a day off. You can't go to the doctor because you don't have health care. What else? Or if you can go to the doctor, if you have insurance, maybe you can't afford it. Still can't afford it because you got those deductibles and co-pays and co-insurance, and God help you if you really are sick. Good luck with your $1 million bill. I love those stories of foreigners who come here to visit the greatest country on earth, and something happens to them. And they get shocked. Like I saw a recent story about a couple that came here, and the woman was pregnant, but she wasn't supposed to give birth, and then they had complications, and she ended up in the hospital here, and it was millions of dollars. They were like, what? Yeah, tourists. That's right. What's up, Bootica? Booty's trying to come to the party. Hold on a second. What's up, Bonnie? Boo. Yeah, no, what are you going to do about how South Carolina has the 37th, it's 37th in the country for medical care. Boo. No, none of that. It's LGBT Pride Month. Leave it to Republicans to make sure that their dupes know what's important, what the real issues are.
God-fearing people here and everywhere know the rainbow belongs to God.
I came up with that. Me, all by myself. Yeah! The rainbow belongs to God. It can't belong to everybody? See, I hate gays. That makes me a real good Christian, says this fake Christian serial adulterer, sick bitch, traitor, who hates America, who lies as easily as breathing, who knows that con man that sexual predator, tax cheating, draft dodging, national security threat con man with the fake university and the vitamin scam. She knows he received fewer votes both times, but she continues to lie because because she's a piece of dirt. She's a garbage person. And she uses Jesus as some human shield. So people think she's got some kind of decency, but she doesn't. Because if Jesus came back, she'd crucify him again. She hates Jesus. Never once have I seen any of these fake Christians say or do anything that their Savior explicitly told them to do. Like feed the poor. Feed the hungry, clothe the naked, help the poor. Look at her smug face. I'm so glad you enjoyed that one, mob of homophobic freaks. I love this guy with his arm in the air. Yeah! Like Josh Hawley. And this dumb bitch behind her with that stupid hat. Yeah! We hate the same things. Isn't it great? Imagine being so willfully ignorant and inwardly ugly that you literally look up to Marjorie Taylor Greene as somebody that you want to lead. I love her. Yeah, we hate gays. We got nothing. Don't worry. Don't worry about your health care. Don't worry about your living wages, retirement security, taking a vacation day. Fuck that. Look at we got some gays for you to hate. You dumb bastards. Jesus. Take the wheel. God. The rainbow. Anyway, I don't know. I just can't. All right. We got more to talk about. What's the matter? Now we got Junior's crying. Well, let's finish up. A couple of things I'm sure you saw. This is how much Republicans, this never ends. They do shit like this all the time because they're morons and they are ignorant. They celebrated July 4th with a tweet that had the wrong flag on it. It was the flag of Liberia, I believe. They tweeted, let's see, the Republican Party is being called out on... Wait, come on. Oh. Wait a minute. The Republican Party is being called out on social media after it shared the flag of the wrong country to mark July 4th. Isn't that unbelievable? What are you doing? Jump up then. Come on. 247 years ago, our forefathers told old King George to get lost. Yes, sure. And we wanted to replace him with old General Bone Spurs. And spores. You know he has spores as well. What? Come on. This is what I deal with. Ah, he's getting heavy. He's sitting there just meowing at me. And then when I try to pick him up, he gets all I think, he went to the doctor. He's fine. He did, his blood is great. I don't know. He might have a little arthritis, but 200, yes, okay, yes. Old King George to get lost. Happy Independence Day. And with a photo of the flag of Liberia. These fucking idiots. Oh, they are so stupid. But it's not unexpected. They do this all the time. Well, because Liberia resembles the U.S. flag because it has red, and white stripes, but is distinguished by the presence of a single white star. I guess in the Republicans' mind, they forget the 50 states. They hate those. They hate like half of the states. Half of those stars can go. And they want one big star, and that's Trump. And they'll just replace that star with the star from Hollywood Boulevard that kept being vandalized by that great patriot pickaxe guy. I really do love pickaxe guy. I appreciate him, whoever he or she is. You're a great American, pickaxe person. Keep up the good work. And for those who don't know, Donald, Trader Trump's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, was continuously vandalized by a pickaxe until the people of Hollywood said, forget it. We're not replacing this trash anymore. So there you go. And another one, let's see. How many? Oh, I meant to say this earlier, but this is embarrassing, right? That Bolsonaro, who followed in Trump's traitorous footsteps, attacking sending a mob to attack the seat of their government in Brazil, vandalizing the presidential palace, their Supreme Court, and other, Capitol buildings, lying about the election being stolen, that he has been barred for running for office for the next 8 years because of this behavior. What the hell is wrong with us? Traitor Trump. He's a traitor. He's a national security risk. And here's the problem, This is why you don't give these pricks an inch, because they take it all. And when Joe Biden is out there saying, I don't want to do anything about the Supreme Court because it'll be politicized, and where will it end? And Merrick the Mild and Merrick the Meek is dragging his heels for a year, not doing anything about that traitor who lied and continues to lie about the election, and it never stops, and you don't come down on these people with the hammer, unapologetically, with the hammer of justice. You only make it worse. And here we are. Oh, we're so divided? Well, I know how to fix the country. Put these people in jail. Why is perjury traitor Green not, she's allowed to run? And I know that she was sued and she won her case. The judge said she could do it. But that's bullshit too. These people are traitors. And, it's time that Democrats fight. And I'm talking legally and peacefully, but you have to fight with the message. Ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous how we allow them to get away with this shit. So anyway, all right. I think I'm going to go and do something about these cats. In the meantime, remember. Oh, the other thing, before I stop. Here's the... I don't know if you saw this on the 4th of July. Trump, he tweeted this or whatever. Truth, he shat it out. I think that's what they call it. On Truth Social. They call it shat. When you post something, it's a shat. 81 million votes, and I've never seen a pro-Biden hat, shirt, flag in my life. Fuck Biden. Yeah, well, first of all, that's the so-called former president of the United States for you, that these traitors want to put back in office. This sophomoric infant, this unfit, traitorous, lying, narcissist, thin-skinned little bitch who received fewer votes, serial bankrupt liar, con man, fake university, tax cheater, who is unfit. They are. And the fact that anybody who, first of all, wears a damn Trump hat is unfit. All you're saying is you're a Nazi. You're just identifying yourself as what you are: a racist, a Nazi, a traitor, a dupe. And the reason you don't see a pro-Biden hat, shirt, flag, or whatever is because Biden is our president. He's not our reason to live. He's our commander-in-chief. He's not our God. He's not our Führer. He's not our dim, glorious leader. He's the president. That's what it means to be an adult in a functioning democracy. Not in an authoritarian dictatorship, a cult of personality, where the personality sucks. Imagine being in a cult of personality with personalities that are garbage. I mean, I can't imagine it, but I'm looking at it, and it's disgusting. And it's pathetic. So, yeah, I try to explain to these Trumpanzees, why don't you ever see a pro-Biden? That's what they say. Oh, Biden can't fill a stadium because he's not our cult leader. He's the president. He's not we're not waking up in the morning and putting on head to toe Biden gear. We don't need to do that. We're adults. This is a friggin', democracy. Jesus. Grow up. And that's the other thing. This, I tweeted earlier. What was it? I took that picture. And I tweet. Where was it? Where is Twitter? Oh, the other thing I'm happy about is Twitter is getting some competition from, Zuckerberg or whatever. See, I'm losing my voice again. And this is what happens at the end of the show. But I'm glad because I've signed up, and everybody should sign up because I'm off of Twitter. If this other thing that Zuckerberg did, what's it called? Threads on Instagram or whatever. If that's like Twitter, we should all move over there because Twitter really is a cesspool now. It's vile, and of course, man-child Musk is pushing all the horrible, worst people. They're all over my feed. I don't follow these people, and they pop up on my phone. This is obviously a deliberate thing. I don't follow Marjorie Taylor Greene, and she comes up on my phone like her vomit. Her ugly, disgusting vomit. And then I muted her. That's what you have to do. But he's just pushing all of these right-wingers down everybody's throats. It was Kyle Rittenhouse. Why would Kyle Rittenhouse pop up on my phone? I never followed him, ever. I hate him. He needs to be in prison for murder. Why am I listening to this ugly, disgusting murderer? But I do hope that it takes off and everybody just moves over there. Like all the normal people. Leave Twitter to become 4chan. Like it really wants to be. But let's see. I'm just trying to find this tweet. Yes. Here it is. Because I tweeted this out earlier. General Bone Spurs draft dodger desperately searching the halls of the Capitol for a place to defecate. Because that's that depiction. That's what we're looking at. But the nerve of this draft dodging, tax cheating traitor to put his filthy head on George Washington's body. George Washington wasn't a draft dodger. He didn't, when his country called, he didn't say, "Ooh, my bone spurs." He didn't try to overthrow the government. In fact, he stepped down. He could have been the king. And that's exactly what King George said when he was informed that George Washington had peacefully relinquished power. King George said, well, if that's true, then he's the greatest person that ever lived. Or something like that. So, that's Trump putting his face on George Washington. That just says it all. Now, how vile. I mean, it just says how vile Republicans are. And we know he's a sick dirtbag, that con man. But he's a draft dodger. He's a tax cheat. Every tax that you cheat, some soldier doesn't get body armor. You're not paying your fair share. You're not paying for that military or whatever that you pretend to be so enamored with. Here's Trump, who never sacrificed anything in his life, never served anything but himself. How dare he? How dare he? And how dare they? try to inflict him on this country again and the world. But anyway, well, thank you for hanging out. We will get back together again on Friday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And yeah, we got more to talk about, more to say, more to do. Hopefully you enjoyed the show and the cats. And thank you, Jim, for your super chat. And thank you for your patronage, people. If you can become a patron, please do at patreon.com/TaraDevlin. Thank you to our sponsors. Oh, and thank you, Charlie, for your donations to Boudica. Very kind and thoughtful and generous. Thank you. And thank you for being more cat cams, yes, to set up. That's right. Remember, thank you, Haiku. We will win. There's a spider? Where? In here? You seeing something I'm not seeing? Oh, your cats. Your cats have a spider to kill? Aw. Mercy. Mercy for the spider. We will win. Remember, we're on the right side of history. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. Thank you so much for hanging out, guys. We stick together. We win. My name is Tara Devlin, and I will see you all on Friday night.